I've made 3 Wuthering Waves accounts in 2025, and I've been able to clear tower within 3 weeks of making them. Today I'm going to give you the optimized game plan I'll be following on my next challenge account, which you guys should totally subscribe to check out. Let's get to it. We start by following the main story, up until you unlock the ability to pull. Currently, there is a selector ticket you will receive in your mail once you unlock this menu. This ticket allows you to pick one of the 5 standard banner characters for free. This is where you turn off your brain and pick Rhinne. Rhinne is insane. She's tied for the most versatile unit in the game and can slot into literally every team. If when you're watching the video the ticket isn't there, you'll get Baisha instead during these pulls. She's a solid fallback, just not quite as good. Your basic team comp should now look like this: Rover, Young, and then Baisha or Rhinne depending on who you have. Rover will be your main DPS, with Young as your sub DPS and Rhinne/Baisha as your support. And as a heads up, this is how most of your team comps will look throughout the game. You'll soon notice the events tab. There will be a lot of freebies in here, but we're going to focus on 2. One of these will give you a free unit named Sanhua on your 5th day of playing. She's a sub DPS and the best 4-star character in the game currently, so when you end up getting her, you're going to put her in Young's slot. The second thing to point out here, Awakened Journey. Make sure you grab the pulls from this anytime you hit one of the level breakpoints at 5, 15, 25, 35, or 45 respectively. At level 45, you're even going to get a 5-star weapon for free, which is absolutely massive. On the topic of pulls, let me tell you what to do with them. You see this beginner banner? That's bait. Your standard pulls belong here, on the weapon banner. Weapon banners are insanely broken in this game, as not only do you get the weapon guaranteed when you hit, but weapons are tradable between teams in all endgame content. Well, besides Whimpering Wastes. No one likes that mode. You won't either. If Rover is your main DPS, aim for Emerald of Genesis here. It's easily the best weapon on the standard banner. It is one of only 2 weapons on the standard banner that actually have crit as its main stat. And it's also the weapon type used by half the roster, so you can toss it between a bunch of characters for free. If you don't hit a 5-star weapon, use the free 4-star weapon from your mail at the start of the game. Rover, Young, and Sanhua can all use Commando of Conviction well, so it's a good pickup here. If you have a 4-cost or above weapon on your main DPS, max it out always. The material will be in abundance if you actually play the game, and even if it ends up being a weapon that technically isn't their best, the EXP won't matter. You should also always max out your main DPS's levels, ascending them whenever possible. Leveling up your sub DPS's until 70 is good, and your healers are fine staying at level 50. EXP will be your biggest gate for progression in the early game, so running the main story is crucial. If you complete the 1.0 story, you'll also unlock Havoc Rover, which is the edgy scythe-wielding monster that'll carry your account. God, I need him to plunge that scythe into me. You will get level gated as you progress through the main story, and that's where the guidebook comes in. Complete these quests anytime possible. The EXP obtained from these is massive, and you're going to get amazing rewards for every tier, including Databank EXP, which we'll need later for our gear. Open world exploration is important to do at these stages as well. You'll need to kill all the mobs in the open world eventually to farm your databank levels, so you can take this time to run around and enjoy the world. Side quests are also good for EXP. You can do them as you're exploring the open world too. I mentioned echoes before, so let's briefly touch on them. Until your databank reaches level 20, you don't want to actively farm these. Just equip a set relative to the character you are playing and roll with that for now. Since you're new and likely don't know what sets you'll run, I'll make it simple. Carries want to run the set relative to their element. Since we're using Havoc Rover in this case, he'll go in the Havoc Eclipse set. Sub DPS characters such as Young and Sanhua almost exclusively use Moonlit Cloud. Side note, this is the most versatile set in the game, and many of your characters will end up sharing this, so feel free to enhance these and make a good set of it. Healers end up on Rejuvenating Glow. Simple enough. The echoes you equip only matter for the first slot, as you will be able to use the first slot's ability inside of combat. For the case of our current team, our ideal would be Dreamless for Havoc Rover, Impermanence Heron for our sub DPS, and either Turtle or Fallacy for your healer. The current meta setup is 1 4-cost, 2 3-costs, and 2 1-costs, also known as 4-3-3-1-1. You will need to level up your databank to use this setup, or you won't have the necessary cost. This is part of the reason why we focus so heavily on EXP in the early game. Every echo has main stats and substats. Main stats are randomly rolled depending on their cost, and substats are universal, but also random. For DPS and sub DPS characters, your 4-cost echo main stat should always be crit rate in the early game. Crit damage is good, but that's going to matter more as you start hitting the later stages of the game. Your 3-cost echo will either be damage percent of your relative element or attack percent, and 1-costs are always just attack percent. For healers, honestly, nothing really matters here outside of giving them energy regen on the 3 costs, but in the early game, I wouldn't go out of my way to fetch for those. Speaking of the early game, I level up my echoes for my main DPS as long as they follow the stats I mentioned before on the main stat specifically, but outside of that, I wouldn't touch them unless I need to for guidebook quests. Don't bother worrying about substats at this stage of the game. That hell of Gachagiri comes later. I'll be making an in-depth guide on echoes in the near future, so make sure you subscribe for that. Waveplates are the stamina gate in this game. As you spend them, you also get EXP, making them mandatory to use. Every day, you get 240 of these, so let's talk about where to use them optimally. Use your Waveplates exclusively to farm forgery challenges or boss challenges in the early game. Focusing on ascension and leveling up your skills is infinitely more important than anything else we can do at this stage. If you're already capped on your ascension skills for your current level, you should then pre-farm the upcoming ones. If you press ascend on your skills, you can identify what resources you need to pre-farm. I would leave my healer at level 50 for now and not really bother with their skill levels. Focus on juicing up your DPS and your sub DPS, as those are going to matter a lot more for your progression. Passive suppression will eventually be a good place for you to spend your Waveplates, but I would only do that once I hit UL 50 and databank level 20, and I have no more skills or ascension to farm. Oh, and weeklies are going to be your biggest bottleneck, so make sure to spend all 3 every week. You can hover your skills once again to see which weekly mats your character will need and farm those accordingly. Follow this simple plan and you'll be on your way to clearing tower within a month. Check out my echo efficiency guide right here. And if you have any other questions, you can ask me on Twitch or YouTube, where I stream daily. Take care.